everybody, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about 7 things you didn't notice in Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Now, let's get on to the video. Number 7. Cameos. This movie is filled with hidden guests. However, we are only going to talk briefly about 3 of them. Number 3. Miranda sings. She is seen here as the internet begins to experience Ralph's chaos with stopping servers and slowing internet speeds. Number 2. Something that I found very interesting is Humphrey the bear. If you look closely in this scene, we can see a bear picking up trash, which is a fun reference to this Earth Day short film where he is forced to repeatedly clean up the mess of others, although Ralph's mess may have been a little bit too big for him to handle. Number 1. We can see the creator of the Marvel Comics, Stan Lee, here in this Marvel Studios section of Oh My Disney. Number 6. The Batman Swirl Out. Disney owns almost everything now. They have Pixar, National Geographic, Fox, The Simpsons, and Marvel. Why not try and steal from DC too? In this scene, we can see a transition almost identical to the Batman spin-out transition. Only instead of a bat signal, the Disney castle is in the center.
I'll get my mice on this.
Showing that pretty soon, Disney may just own the world. Number 5. A113. Many Disney fans know the story behind A113, but for those who don't, here is a quick summary. A113 was a room used for animation classes at the California Institute of the Arts. The program was specific towards character animation, which, if you haven't noticed, is something very present in Pixar and Disney films. So, as a nod to the school where they learned it all, and as an inside joke, they attempt to put it in all the films. In Ralph Breaks the Internet, you can see it here, as Vanellope tries to escape from the stormtroopers. It's listed as Sector A113. This idea of a hidden surprise in each film is not much different from Pixar putting the Pizza Planet truck in multiple films. Number 4. Dead websites. After Ralph fights with Vanellope, we can see him at the bottom of the internet, searching for the necklace that broke and fell. If we look closely, we can see many names on the signs behind him. One of those names being GeoCities, which, when I looked it up, was a real website that is no longer really in high demand. We can also see public chat rooms where people used to meet, but those kind of died when cell phones were invented. In the far background, we can also see the dial-up express sign, which used to be how people connected to the internet through the telephone line. So, as you can see, all the websites that have fallen into this area of internet's past were real, but they became obsolete. Showing symbolically that at this point in the movie, Ralph seemed like a distant memory, because without his friend, he felt that he too was obsolete. Number 3. Slaughter Race in real life. Even though Slaughter Race is clearly not set in the real world, some evidence points to the fact that it may actually be set in a real town. All throughout the game, we can see signs saying, "Welcome to Pleasant Valley," or just the name of the town, Pleasant Valley. Although it's hard to make out an interstate number when they drive during their high-speed chases, at the end of the movie, we can see this clip during the credits that clearly says Interstate 10. Then, during Vanellope's dream sequence, we can see a license plate being held by the dogs that says Louisiana. So, using this data, we can see a few things. Number 1, the I-10 does run through Louisiana. And when I did some research, there is an actual place in Louisiana commonly referred to as Pleasant Valley, although it's actually located in Frosttown. While the 10, or the I-10, doesn't reside very close to Pleasant Valley, it is still a semi-coherent place, showing that it may have actually been geographically based on this area, even if it's different in every other aspect. Number 2, the Reptilier comic. In the movie Big Hero 6, Fred fans over the Reptilier comic that has fire-breathing monsters. This comic, while seemingly unrelated to Ralph Breaks the Internet, is actually seen twice in the film. The first is when Mr. Litwack, the arcade owner, is seen in his office installing Wi-Fi, right here on the filing cabinet. And we can also see some Star Wars memorabilia in the background. Then, in the most unlikely of places, we also see the comic, in the princess room lying on the ground. This shows that Big Hero 6 and Wreck-It Ralph may actually exist in the same universe, and that even Disney princesses like some sci-fi now and then. Number 1, the scoreboard. In this movie, we can see Winnie the Pooh and his whole gang at the Oh My Disney scene. But did you know that they were also alluded to somewhere else? If we look closely at Food Fighters, the arcade game, we can clearly see the scoreboard, which has the top 7 players. If we look at number 1, we can see P-O-H, or Pooh. In second, we can see P-G-T, or Piglet, who is always right behind Pooh. Below that, we can see E-Y-R, or Eeyore. In fourth, we can see R-B-T, or Rabbit. In fifth, we can see W-O-L, who is Owl, which makes sense because Owl is notorious for spelling things wrong. Next, we see Kanga and finally Roo, who are inseparable. This hidden Easter egg is one of my favorites because it shows that even now, Winnie the Pooh still loves his honey.